Michael Pry here, looking at the internal organisation. We're now going to look at the corporate culture part of an organisation. This falls under the internal analysis section of our strategic development model. So corporate culture, what is the management's focus? How does senior management's point of view about the future stack up against its competitors? So let's look at some of these questions. How does it stack up against its competitors? Are they reactive or are they far-sighted? And what issue is absorbing most senior management's attention? Are they looking at re-engineering their core strategies or re-engineering core processes? So as we go through this, think about an organization that you're familiar with. And again, are they reactive or far-sighted? Are they re-engineering or regenerating new ideas? So within the industry, do competitors view the company as more of a rule taker or rule maker? So if they're taking rules from the industry, then they're followers. If they're making rules, then they're moving towards being a leader. What is the firm better at? Improving operational efficiency or creating a fundamental new business? Focus on competitors or building your own advantage. This is very important. What percentage of our advantage building efforts focus on catching up with competitors versus building advantages in the new part of the industry? If you're just catching up, then how can you be a leader? But if it's all about mostly how can you help build a new industry, that's a whole different way of transforming your organization. To what extent has our transformational agenda been set by competitors' actions versus being set by our own unique vision of the future? So are you worried about your competitors or are you following your unique vision of the future? So in terms of the firm's cultural paradigm, and we look at the competitive challenge, the old way of looking at this is would be, let's look at re-engineering our different processes. Let's look at transforming our own organization. Let's look at competing for another 1% of market share. That's the old way of looking at running an organization. The new way would be, let's look at regenerating new strategies to grow. Let's look at transforming the industry and how can we grow through coming up with new, unique solutions to what customers want. And how do we compete for opportunity for a whole new area, a new customer base or new market? And that's a different way of thinking in terms of what is your cultural paradigm. Are you worried about what your competitors are doing? Are you just changing what you do now? Or are you looking into the future and what your vision of the future is and taking advantage of any opportunities that are out in the marketplace? So are you reactive or proactive? That's simplifying it down to one picture. What type of organization do you work for or are you consulting to? So are you a traditional organization or are you innovative? So that's really where this past slide comes up with. Are you reactive or proactive? Are you traditional or are you moving towards being more innovative? And you need to understand this because you have to have a good baseline to work from. Then if we look at the organizational culture and say, how adaptable are you? So adaptability is the ability to change the organization's internal environment, external environment, and both simultaneously for a dynamic fit. And this is very hard. This is not, a lot of companies can't do this. They can do one or the other. You can affect the internal organization, but maybe not the external environment. If you can do both, then that's a huge benefit to the organization. So what's the organization culture in terms of the ability to cope with change? It's the internal ability to maintain your own identity and at the same time overcome the problem of change. So this is where the vision and values come into your ability to change. If everyone's internalized the vision and values of the organization, then you can focus on the change and still have those vision and values and carry those forward with you to achieve your vision. So question for you, how does your organization adapt and cope with change? So this is the end of this section. How does your organization adapt and cope with change? Then let's have a look at the closed organizational system. And there's a difference between being a closed organization and an open organization in terms of the corporate culture. Most leading managers spend their whole career in the industry with no variety. So this is a closed organization. Does the industry rely on high barriers to entry, which lets no new competitors in? Is the industry take-up rate of new technology slow? So there's no innovation happening. Industry market share is concentrated and stable. There's no competition. Basic concept of product and service is unchanged. There's a set view of customers in terms of the industry. They don't deliver what the customers want next. They just deliver what they've been delivering for years. Is everyone following the same profit model? Is the industry highly fragmented? No economies of scale, no partnerships going on, no networking going on with outside the industry. Does regulation preoccupy managers? And managers blame regulation rather than looking at creative solutions. So if you look at some of these things and see this is what's going on with your organization or within your client's organization, you have an issue because there's no innovation, there's no forward thinking, there's no foresight going on saying how can we make it better? How can we deliver what our customers want in the future? That is not the type of thing that goes on within a closed organization. So then we look at an open organizational system. The board hires from outside, new blood, new ideas from other industries. Creativity and innovation is part of the culture. It has to be part of the culture to be an open system. Management reward unorthodox ideas and support diverse points of view. The firm has developed new products, new services outside of the industry norm. They've reached outside to other industries and other partners to improve their products and services. And management walk around and ask ideas from the front line because the front line has specific input from customers and from suppliers. So all of these things point towards innovation and progress, whereas a closed organization doesn't point towards innovation or progress. It's status quo. So let's look at different, again, strategic positions. First of all, let's look at being a reactor. You're a follower. You have no viable strategy and unconnected strategies. You're just following what happens within the marketplace. A defender position would be defender emphasizes narrow and stable market niche within the industry, single and stable core technology. It's vertically integrated, production and finance operates the same every year, and you have bureaucratic structures. Person at the top tells everyone else what to do and it passes through the whole system. There's no feedback from the front line. Analyzers. So this emphasizes a market niche with some risk. It follows change prudently. It growing by product and market expansion, has a stable technology with applied research. They are doing research. They are trying to find out what's going on. Marketing and applied research and production happen so they can develop products and services. And they have a matrix organization with controls. And finally, the prospector. So a prospector, this emphasizes a broad or continually developing products and markets and services. They work to lead change within their industry. They use multiple technologies, bring in new technologies, bring in new partners. They rely on marketing and research. They're a product-orientated organization and a market-orientated controls, as well as finding out what consumers want. So select your organization's position. In looking at this, you can look at the risk factors. A reactor, there's no risk. Defender, there's very little risk. Analyzer, there's more risk. And prospector, there's a high risk. So again, what type of organization do you work for, or are you consulting to at the moment?